Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh, where we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. So today, I guess this is kind of some breaking news. Not really, I guess it's a 2A issue because it affects a gun store here in Connecticut. And if you clicked on this, you already know what we're talking about. We're talking about Hoffmans, probably the biggest gun store in Connecticut, other than maybe I'm not really going to include Cabela's in this. So the biggest gun store in Connecticut, Scott Hoffman has been arrested um, for theft of a firearm and grand larceny. Let me pull up these actual charges here. So the offense date goes back to July 3rd, 2025 for stealing a firearm, which is a Class C felony, and larceny in the second degree, which is also a Class C felony. Those statutes are 53A 212 and 53A 123. His next court date is November 5th at 10 a.m. and he was put on a $25,000 bond. He was bonded out, by the way. So this is Scott Hoffman, the owner of Hoffman's. What is it? Guns for the Good Guys or something? Sold by a bad guy. So this happened the other day. We got a text from somebody and I was like, what? And so things have developed here. I want to share to you guys WTNH's news report here. So if you guys have not heard this yet, and then I'm going to add some insight into this from a gun store perspective. So stay tuned for that. So WTNH, the owner of the gun store in Newington, was accused of stealing a firearm according to the arrest warrant by Newington Police Department. Scott Hoffman attempted to sell a stolen firearm in July, according to the warrant. When detectives arrived at the store, they met with Katie, a store associate. She told them when she was trying to process a sale of a Beretta 12 gauge. When she initiated the transfer through the SLFU, she received a notification that the gun was stolen. Katie told police that Hoffman's originally received the shotgun directly from the manufacturer in 2019, and it remained in their inventory since that time. Investigation revealed that the shotgun was reported stolen in 2019 during a UPS shipment from Virginia to Tennessee, where it was originally supposed to be delivered to Bass Pro Shop. She then turned the gun over to the Newington Police Department, where it was stored in the evidence locker, according to the warrant. Later that month, Carrie, who worked as one of the general managers from Hoffman's from 2008 to 2023, we're going to come back and talk about Carrie briefly, reported to police that the Beretta firearm was delivered to the store accidentally in 2019. Scott Hoffman opened the box, realized how much it was worth, and said, I'm going to keep it and not tell Beretta. They're never going to find out because it was addressed to someone else. That was quote unquote. The firearm is believed to be worth about $14,999, the arrest warrant said. Police then spoke with Scott Hoffman, who provided them quote unquote paperwork about the gun, but no documentation from Beretta, and the documentation provided was all created in-house at his store. During the course of the investigation, Scott Hoffman told the police that he would have never ordered the gun, quote unquote, and indicated that he did not recall ordering the gun. After Hoffman was arrested, he told police that he assumed the gun was a transfer that was ordered by someone. He claimed that a few weeks later, he reached out to the salesman to put it into the back storage room. And said he never heard back from the salesman. The pandemic happened. The gun was back there, quote unquote, for 2 to 3 years. According to the incident report, Hoffman indicated that he found the gun during an inventory check 3 years later and said, oh yeah, what about this thing? No one ever claimed it. Might as well put it out. Who the hell knows? I shouldn't have done that. I don't know. Who the hell knows? He was arrested on September 8th and charged with criminally possession of a firearm, second degree larceny, and scheduled to appear on Monday. So let's translate all of this for you guys from a gun store and gun store owner perspective and add my 2 cents into this, not knowing anything other than what I just read. So Carrie was a general manager from, 2008 to 2023 there, something like that. Carrie no longer works for Hoffman's. He does work for another store in Connecticut currently, or as of the last time I saw him. And that's about as much as I know. I know that one day he was at Hoffman's and then one day he was not. For a general manager to just leave, guessing there was probably, you know, maybe not some great exiting terms on both ends here, but that's speculation. As far as the gun, so when guns are shipped from anyone, from a wholesaler or from another store or even from a manufacturer, because some stores are direct dealers. Hoffman's is one of them with Ruger, but in this case it was a Beretta. So I believe it was going, let me get this in so we quote this correctly here. It's going from Virginia to Tennessee, somehow going to a Bass Pro Shop, and it ended up in Connecticut. That's interesting. But when guns are shipped and they don't make it to their destination, you as the shipper have to fill out a interstate transportation loss form with the ATF. And then the ATF goes and investigates. You give them the tracking information, and then they go and contact, UPS or FedEx or USPS or, whoever it may be shipping through. And they go and track these down. Now, so on that end, though, Beretta reports this gun stolen, puts a serial number into the system as it's stolen. Supposedly, Scott receives this gun, opens it up, sees it's worth a expensive amount, probably like an over-under. Beretta over-under shotguns can be very expensive, and does something very, very stupid and keeps it. Now, instead of reporting it to Beretta, being like, hey, I just got this gun, where's the paperwork? Another thing on top of all of this, which I think is going to be very interesting, also means he forged his bound book, which is a very bad no-no because that gun was not logged to him ever. So that means he logged it in, right? It had to be in a system at some point, right? Because this was discovered in trying to sell the gun to a customer now. So that means it had to be in their bound book system, whether they have an electronic bound book or a paper bound book. It had to be in their system. So that means there had to be an acquisition of this gun from somewhere, whether it was from Beretta directly, or maybe he claimed it was from a transfer from somebody, whatever it may be. That means their bound book now has fraud in it, which is bad. That's bad. And then trying to sell it to somebody, that's where the serial number popped and it came up stolen. Now, serial numbers popping stolen, I've had that happen actually twice here. And one of them, the guy actually owned the gun, is reported stolen back in like the 80s. He recovered it the same day and never got cleared out of the system, went to PD, got it fixed. The other one was kind of similar to this situation, but not exactly the same. And you know what? I'll share it in here just because we're doing a podcast. Why not? So we'll sidetrack off this story a little bit here. And customer ordered a Colt from, we'll just call it Bob's Guns down in Florida. Bob, sent up the gun. We put the gun into our system, went to transfer the gun out to George, and the serial number popped stolen. Brand new 1911 Colt, right? On the way from Colt to this store down in Florida, he was a direct dealer with Colt. The package got lost. So Colt reported it missing, stolen, lost. And then it showed up at the dealer's place of business about a week later. The dealer told Colt, hey, the guns arrived, all set, no big deal. Colt then, supposedly, when I talked to them, reported it into the system that the guns were recovered. And it should have gotten taken out of the system. Well, it wasn't. So when we went to go sell the gun, transfer the gun, it popped. Not a big deal. A couple days later, Colt was able to rectify the situation. We were able to transfer the gun to the customer. And that was that. Not a big deal. This, though, this is a big deal. You knowingly took a gun that was not yours. You kept it for yourself for whatever your crazy reason was. You told multiple employees, not just Carrie, your general manager, because once this started getting out yesterday, I had a few friends that have worked at this store and they knew about this. So that says something. This is bad. This is bad for him. We'll see what happens in the long run. But 2 Class C felony charges, it's a real bad thing for him. So Beretta hopefully will get their gun back. It's an expensive gun, or Bass Pro will get their gun. Whoever will get the gun eventually, maybe. I'm sure it was probably claimed on insurance at this point. since it was 5-6 years ago. Also, blaming COVID. There's another thing I want to add into this. In his quote here from Mr. Scott here, during an inventory check 3 years later. So 2022, you only do an inventory check every 3 years? What? That's what that says right there, right? During an inventory check 3 years later. Came in 2019. So that means you do an inventory check. I don't even know how often or how little. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. We do an inventory check monthly here. Monthly. Every month we have it built into our electronic system. We go around, make sure everything that is supposed to be here is here. It is not difficult. It maybe takes 45 minutes for us. So maybe it takes one person all day. They're a very big store. I'm sure they can afford it. 3 years. And then you're just like, put it out on the shelf. Like, that's insane. The story is wild. And we'll keep you guys updated because why not? Why not? We'll see what happens to Hoffmans. I doubt it's going to go anywhere. Maybe he'll sell. Maybe he'll get a name change. Fun fact, to my knowledge, I'm not 100% on this, but to my knowledge, he is not on his federal firearms license. So this should have no operational effect at that store. That means that store should still continue to run at the moment. I have no idea what the state can go and do on their end, or if the state will do anything, because the state can pull there's also a retail permit to sell. So it depends on who is actually on the federal firearms license and the other paperwork. If they wanted to go and do that, but Scott does have a lawyer, and we'll see what comes with this. But what are your comments on this, guys? Comment below if you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. What do you guys think of Hoffmans? That's always a fun topic. And make sure you guys subscribe, especially to our YouTube channel. We're getting more and more followers there. So I really appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and then leave us your thoughts on Hoffmans and this whole debacle. My name's Josh, and we will see you guys next time. See ya. Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code lnlpodcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.